Hey you guys, this is IYRE. Um, just sort of sharing a short commentary about Āśrama and Zainab, which was released on Goldfat on 30th of July. Um, I also want to thank you guys for the massive feedback for those two tracks. Um, the support and the feedback that I've received so far has been overwhelming, and I can't be more happier with regards to everything that has been happening since I released those two tracks. I think we've had a bit of interviews, and then we had a couple of premieres on Ledge Sounds and UKF, which has been amazing. Um, and I honestly can't wait to share the music that I'm working on right now with you guys. More music with Goldfat and the future as well. There's quite a bit of collabs happening around, so I'm pretty excited. And talking about those two tracks, let's move on to Āśrama first of all. Both these tracks has been produced during the first quarantine period. Actually, Āśrama was the second track that I produced for Goldfat, and Zainab happens to be the third track, and they picked up both tracks, which is amazing. And also happened to be my debut single. So Āśrama. If you follow me on Instagram, you'd have seen that I post hiking pictures quite often, and hiking happens to be one of my passions as well. I tend to travel around a lot. I prefer spending my leisure hours on the top of a mountain, looking down beneath the scenery. So those experiences kind of pushed me towards a direction where I wanted to create something that inspired me out of those travels as well. And I more than often travel to a mountain range in Sri Lanka called Knuckles, which is primarily from where I gathered the inspiration to create this track. There's a monastery in Knuckles mountain range which is called Hillside Hermitage. I'm going to leave the Instagram link below, where a group of monks practice meditation and Buddhist principles in the mountain range, and visitors aren't allowed to be a part of this experience as at now. So I don't even know where the exact location of this monastery is in the mountain range, but I was aware of its existence in the mountain range. So that kind of inspired me to create a soundtrack that could resemble that could be a resemblance of the monastery called Hillside Hermitage. Again, the link will be on the description. In terms of the sounds that I've used Buddhist chants. I kind of has some of the Indian influences running on this track as well. The sounds are quite lush. The bass is very deep. So all these sounds try to emulate that environment that I've grown to like over my travels to Knuckles mountain range. So that's kind of how I came up with Āśrama, and the meaning of Āśrama is a place where people go to meditate and attain mental well-being, or nirvana, or state of nirvana. So that is kind of the inspiration that I had towards this track. So moving on to Zainab, I originally didn't have any idea to incorporate elements from Middle East, to be honest with you, but as and when I progressed with the track, when I had the main chord progressions running, I understood that there is a possibility for me to incorporate a little bit of Arabic vocals into the track. Main reason being, elements from South Asia and Middle East are quite more than often overlooked in terms of drum and bass production. So I wanted to see if there's a possibility to incorporate those elements into a drum and bass environment, which is what I did. I came across the vocals that I've used in this track, and I just had to figure out a way to incorporate those elements into a beautiful, lush sounding liquid drum and bass track. More than of, I mean, people, there's a conception that Arabic music can be a little bit aggressive as well in terms of pronunciation. So I had to understand how best I can incorporate the vocals into the track as well. Moving towards the second drop, I've also introduced a little bit of Indian elements as well. I've introduced the sitar, a bit of Indian vocals running around. I think I was able to incorporate most of what I had in mind into the track, and in a manner that elements weren't fighting each other to have a prominence inside the mix. So that is how I came up with the Āśrama and Zainab. It has been quite some time, as I told you before, that I produced those tracks as well. So finally happy to share them with you. And I have to thank Goldfat for pushing me to be the best version of myself as an artist. They have been behind me ever since I signed with them. Ever since Fragments was out, ever since the River was out. Actually, the first ever demo that I sent to them was River, which they diverted to Marisa Pixies, and which eventually got signed to Headspace Volume 4, if I'm not mistaken. And the second release that the second song that I sent them as a demo was Fragments. So has been incredible ever since I released Fragments. In terms of a release schedule, I have quite a bit of music that is to be released onto September. In September, I would say. I have a couple of singles and a 2-tracker which is going to be released in September. So September is going to be a pretty hectic month for me as an artist. Most of these songs have been produced during the pandemic, and except for one or two. So I'm finally happy to share all these tunes with you. Shouts to Goldfat again for supporting me throughout, and let's see what future holds for IYRE. So grateful for the journey so far, and honestly can't wait to share all this music that I'm working on right now. So big ups to all of you guys for the support, and I hope I shared quite a bit of information with you with regards to those 2 trackers. I'm going to do track breakdowns for Āśrama and Zainab as well, so stay tuned for those as I work on them, and most probably I'll be able to release them maybe towards the end of this month. So I'm pretty hopeful to finish those as well. So stay tuned, and thank you so much.